Life, by its nature, is fluid and changing, and we often struggle against its currents. We strive to control every aspect, to force outcomes to our will, but often we discover that, despite our efforts, something inside us remains unsettled. This feeling of discomfort is due to the disconnection from the natural flow of life. However, ancient Buddhist teachings provide us with a powerful tool to deal with this anxiety: trust in the flow of life. Buddhists teach that life is not a straight line, but rather a river that flows continuously, sometimes calm and other times turbulent. Resisting this flow is as useless as trying to stop water with your hands. Suffering, for the most part, comes from our struggle against the inevitable. When we try to control everything, we drift away from the very nature of existence. True wisdom lies in understanding that everything has its rhythm, its time, and its purpose. Every experience, every event in our lives is connected to the prior causes and conditions. Nothing happens by chance. Everything is in motion, always transforming. Attachment is one of the main causes of our suffering. We want things to happen according to our plan, but life teaches us that everything changes, everything is impermanent. Resistance to change brings us anxiety and suffering. In Buddhism, it is said that attachment to the outcome is what creates the pain. When we idealize a future that doesn't materialize as we imagined, we face frustration and sadness, not because life is unfair, but because we don't accept its natural flow. If this message resonated with you and you believe that this path of trusting the flow of life can help you free yourself from stress and anxiety, I invite you to like the video and share it with others who may also need this reminder. Remember, you are not alone in this process. Together, we can learn to flow with life, leaving behind what no longer serves us and opening ourselves to new possibilities. One of the key teachings in Buddhism is the wisdom of letting go. When we let go of the need to control, we open space for the universe to guide us to what is truly for us. This act of letting go doesn't mean giving up, but trusting that what is meant for us will come at the right time. Instead of forcing the course of events, we learn to be flexible, to live with acceptance and gratitude for what life offers us, even when it is not what we had planned. The process of letting go involves understanding that not everything depends on our strength or willpower. There are moments when we must act, but there are also times when the best option is to wait. Buddhism teaches the concept of right effort, part of the Noble Eightfold Path, which does not refer to acting blindly, but to do so with wisdom and detachment from the result. Acting when the conditions are favorable, when our intuition guides us, is the true effort. On the other hand, when action is filled with anxiety or despair, perhaps it is better to let go and allow life to do its part. Throughout our lives, we seek certainties and guarantees. We want to have control over every detail, our relationships, the future. But life teaches us that trying to control the uncontrollable only leads us to frustration. When we try to control everything, our mind fills with fear and anxiety, and our soul becomes tense and fragile. True strength is not in mastering circumstances, but in learning to flow with them, in being flexible and adaptable. Letting go of control doesn't mean being irresponsible. It means trusting that we have the ability to navigate any situation, even when things don't unfold as we expected. Fear is one of the emotions that most feeds our need for control. We fear the unknown, change, loss, and this anxiety leads us to cling to what we have, even when it no longer serves us. Buddhism teaches that true peace comes from letting go, from ceasing to fight against the natural course of life. When we learn to let go, our mind is freed, and we can live with more lightness and serenity. Instead of focusing on what could go wrong, we begin to focus on the present moment, accepting that life doesn't always follow our plans, but always follows its own path, one that often leads us exactly where we need to be. The process of letting go is a constant exercise in acceptance. It is not easy to let go of something we have wanted or fought for, but true strength lies in the ability to release what is no longer useful, what has already fulfilled its purpose in our life. This act of liberation allows us to open space for the new, for the unexpected. Clinging to the old, to what no longer serves us, only keeps us stuck in a cycle of suffering. When we let go, we make room for the new to enter, for new opportunities, for new experiences. The flow of life, like a river, has its calm and turbulent moments. Not everything in life is easy or predictable, and learning to trust this flow allows us to live with more freedom. Trust doesn't mean everything will turn out the way we expect, but it does mean that we can find peace in the process, no matter what happens. Buddhism invites us to live with mindfulness, to be present in each moment without clinging to expectations or predefined outcomes. Each conscious breath, each gesture of acceptance is a step towards inner peace. Instead of comparing ourselves to others, we should focus on our own path. Constant comparison is a silent poison that undermines our confidence and inner peace. Every being is unique, and our life doesn't have to resemble anyone else's to be valuable. Liberating ourselves from comparison is an act of self-love. By stopping to look outward and starting to look inward, we discover that the only thing we need is to be authentic. True peace comes from living according to our own truth, without the need for external validation. Finally, life is not always easy or predictable, but when we learn to trust its flow, we discover that we are always being guided to the right place. No matter how many detours we take, the river of life always knows where to lead us. Suffering doesn't disappear immediately, but it loses its weight when we embrace each moment as part of our growth. Life, in its entirety, is a dance, and when we learn to move to the rhythm of this flow, we discover a lightness and peace that don't depend on everything going perfectly, but on knowing that whatever happens, we can always find meaning in what happens to us. Thank you for staying with me until the end. If this reflection helped you understand how to let go of control and trust more in your path, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to keep receiving more content that will support you in your personal growth. Leave me your comment and tell me, in which area of your life are you ready to trust more and let go of control? See you in the next video.